Hey guys, Andrew and Chelsea here from the Maplewood Market Crafts, and today we're going to show you how to build a bathroom wall hanger. This thing is super simple and super easy to make. Let's get to it. This bathroom wall hanging shelf is made up from 5 pieces of wood. The back is flush to the wall. We decided to have our shelves be 12 inches wide and 8 inches high. Since we will be hanging this over a toilet, the dimensions of a roll of toilet paper was the main reason behind choosing these dimensions. The vertical legs will be made from 2x4s and the shelving is 1x6s. Remember, the actual dimensions for a 2x4 is 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches, and a 1x6 is 3/4 of an inch by 5.5 inches. Other materials that you need for this project are brad nails or screws. Since the 2x4 is 1.5 inches thick, I don't recommend using any nails or screws shorter than 2 inches. You'll also need wood glue for added strength, some stain, a wood sealant, rope, and a wall hanger. Alright, so let's get started. Here I have my 8-foot 2x4 and a leftover piece of 1x8 I had in storage. I'm just going to be using this and stripping it down to the size of a 1x6 later. First you need to cut your wood down to length. Use a measuring tape and mark the length of 23 inches. We used a miter saw here. If you don't have a miter saw, you have plenty of other options. Here are a couple examples with the skill saw and the handsaw. Handsaw video is definitely not sped up. I'm just that fast. When you are done cutting your pieces to length, use the leftover 2x4 and cut spacers the height between your shelves. For us this was 8 inches. This will help speed up the assembly process. Since I used some leftover 1x8s, I quickly need to strip these down to size using my table saw. Next we drilled our holes in the 2x4 for the rope. The size of your hole depends on the size of rope you are using. We like the look of doubling up 3/8 of an inch rope, so we drilled our hole using a 1-inch spade bit. You'll want to leave some space between your hole and the top of the 2x4. We measured the center of our hole to be 1.75 inches down. This left 1.25 inches left at the top, which we thought was plenty. When using a spade bit, you'll want to watch and see the tip of the spade poke through to the other side. Once it does, flip your wood over and finish your hole from the other side to avoid splintering. Clean up your wood by sanding it. We like this project to have a bit of a rougher look to it, so we just quickly went over it with 80 grit sandpaper using an orbital sander. You can sand as much or as little as you want to get the look you are going for. Be sure not to sand off any of the edges of the wood that you're going to be joining together. This will make for a cleaner connection. If you don't have an orbital sander, wrap some sandpaper around a block of wood and it will do just fine. Now that the mess is done, time to clean off before heading back inside. Before I assemble the shelf, I use the shelf and the spacer blocks to mark out where I'll need to nail in. This isn't necessary, but it does provide a little bit of extra certainty if you're not very experienced. I put the bottom shelf on first, by spreading glue over the base of the 2x4s. Spreading the glue provides better coverage and reduces how much squeezes out whenever you push the wood together. Throw in a few brad nails and you're good to go. Using the spacer blocks to make sure the shelf is level, dry fit the first shelf to see how it looks. You'll want to make sure the 2x4 legs are square to the shelf. You can eyeball this or use a square. Take out your shelf and spread the glue. When everything looks good, nail it into place. Now repeat the process. If you don't have a brad nailer, you still have quite a few options, like using screws. Before you put your screws in, make sure you pre-drill a hole so the wood doesn't split on you. Use a drill bit that is smaller than your screws to make sure you still get good grip. I really didn't like the idea of having screw faces showing, so I made sure to bury them into the wood using a countersink. I don't actually have a countersink drill bit, so I just used a drill bit larger than the head of my screws and increasing the size of my pre-drill hole for the first 1/4 inch. Follow a similar process as you did with the brad nails to get your shelf put together. Go back to your screw holes and fill them in with wood filler. We recommend using one that dries to a natural wood finish. Once it dries, give it a quick sand so it leaves a smooth finish. You can finish your shelves any way you like. Here are a few different wood stains. Apply it by rubbing it in with a rag. When you're done staining, leave your shelves to dry out before sealing. Read the instructions on your can of stain for recommended drying time. It is important to seal the wood so the wood doesn't shrink or expand by taking in moisture. We used a semi-gloss varnish and applied it using a brush. You're now ready to put in your rope and hang up your masterpiece. Alright guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please go down and like it, as well as subscribe to our page so you can get a notification every time we put out a new how-to video. See you next time.